Are you ready?
Hi. So good evening. My name is Evadne, and today I'm going to talk about using WebSocket and other messaging technologies in production for your web application. So a little bit of background, or say the takeaway of this talk, is that after finishing this talk, you should learn three things. The first thing is that there's a really compelling reason to add a messaging layer to your application. So your application can send messages back to your clients. And the second thing is that we will be talking about certain errors and certain omissions we hit when rolling out messaging to production, so you won't have to make the same mistakes again. And the last one is that, yes, there is going to be an open source library for it, and we maintain it, and it's open source already. But you will be able to simply hit the ground and running on day one if you want to. So the reason why we look at messaging originally was that we had a requirement in production to build an application. And we tried several approaches. We tried doing it in a static way, so use Rails and Action View to render stuff, and found out it wasn't very good. So we had to use the best solution for the problem. And the problem is that we need to manage coursework portfolios. Basically, a portfolio, in this case, is a collection of files, like uploads, files, images, videos uploaded by a student to the IB, International Baccalaureate, for assessment and for review. So originally, they had the Java applet and the CodeFusion application. So when you want to upload anything as a school user, you have to download the Java applet and potentially have to install Java first. And then you queue all the files, let it run for a day or two, and eventually it'll finish. So we got an assignment, which is to build a better system that doesn't allow users to wait so long. So initially, we approached this by just simply building a Rails application, which looks like this. Basically, you have a bunch of files, and you can drag them into an app, and that's it. But so we went to the IB, and we said, OK, so here it is. And then what? And then plot twist, which is that at the same time, there may be multiple users operating on the same data set. So if you were to operate on a portfolio simultaneously as another user is, you will potentially run into race conditions. So for example, I uploaded a file as an essay, but at the same time, another person uploaded another file as an essay. So who wins? Who gets to see what is happening? So we need a way to reconcile that automatically. And of course, there are many sources as well, because we want to retain flexibility to do mobile uploads or to do desktop application uploads later on. So that was very frustrating for us. Eventually, we came up with a solution, which is that we will add a messaging layer to the backend. So whenever there are changes will be synchronized with all the front ends that are visible, opened, and securely as well. So, and we did some experiments like this, like I can open like 12 Mac applications at the same time uploading stuff, and the backend does scale. So eventually this happens, which is that you can upload a file in one view, and another person in another browser on another computer will see that change immediately. Even when you're deleting stuff, the deletion gets synchronized automatically. OK, so how do we do it? We look at outstanding technologies. Initially, there's like long polling or comment. So we look at that, and then we look at event source, and we look at the Bayou protocol. Eventually, we found that, OK, so we can probably use WebSockets because it's kind of green, and we only support the last two major versions of any browser. So that was pretty nice, but then we found another issue, which is that WebSockets actually do break. They sometimes break when you don't want them to, and that caused a lot of issues in pre-production testing. Well, so we had to go with a hybrid solution and use Faye for Node. So here's how the initialization process actually looks like in production. Assuming that you have a Ruby node, a node, and an AngularJS thing, first you load the page, and the page will give you a messenger token and API token. So what do you do with these? First, you take the API token. First, you take the messenger token, and use that to open a connection with the messenger. So you have two-way communication. Currently, we do one-way, but you can do two-way. And then you use the API token to start loading information from the backend. So you use the API token to get the API response. And if there's a change, it's not a problem, because now you have a WebSocket connection or basically a fake connection doing whatever you need to do. If there's a change, for example, somebody did something else. So what happens? The server pushes it to the messaging server. And then the messaging server moves it will move it to your application through the proper channel. And that ensures that everything is done in order and properly. So the open source library is here. You can search for Adobe Messenger and you will find it. I'm going to skip the following notes because there's no time left, but hopefully this will be available somewhere. So thanks very much for listening, and sorry for taking more time.